this is the solution to the Java MOOC course, Java Programming Exercise 511, named Comparing Apartments. The programming exercise is divided into 3 parts. So the programming exercise asks us to create a few methods that can be used to compare apartments that are being sold. So we have been provided with an apartment class, right, that holds the information about the apartment that is on sale, which is represented by an object that is instantiated from the class apartment. So we have been given 3 instance variables: rooms, squares, and price per square. Now, based upon these 3 parameters and these 3 data values, we are comparing the apartments. So the first part is to compare sizes. So first of all, we have to create a method public boolean larger than apartment compared that returns true if the apartment object whose method is called has a larger total area than the apartment that is being compared. Here we have Manhattan studio apartment as one object, Atlanta 2-bedroom apartment, and Bangor 3-bedroom apartment. So all it does is it calls the method of Manhattan studio apartment. The method is named larger than, but passes the parameter object. That is object as a method parameter for this Manhattan studio apartment object. So we are passing Atlanta 2-bedroom apartment, and by passing this object we can gain access to its data variables and compare those data variables to Manhattan studio apartment's own data variables. And by comparing those 2 variables, we need to figure out which one is larger, and for that we are comparing squares, because what I think this basically is comparing is area, and area is given by the squares, right? So we are comparing the number of squares, and the apartment having the greater number of squares will have a greater area. So first of all, let's hop into the program and let's see what we have been provided in apartment and main Java. Main Java has just instantiated 3 objects and nothing more, and apartment Java has 3 instance variables that are just initialized. Now, first of all, since these data variables are private, we need to create a method to gain access to these variables. For that, all we're gonna do is define public get squares method, and since square is an integer, we are defining the return type as integer, and we are simply returning return this dot squares, right? So now this public method can return this private value. Similarly, let's create other 2 get methods as well. Get price per squares, right? So for now, just let's return this dot price. Okay, done. Now we need a comparing method, and the comparing method is defined as public boolean larger than, I guess, was another name given, yeah, larger than, and it takes object as a parameter. So now we have to check the condition. If this dot get squares is greater than compared dot get squares, then we have to return true, right? Return true, otherwise we are returning false. But notice here, this statement gives us either a true statement or a false statement in itself. That is, either this is true or this is false. So we are returning either true or false statement as well. So this if statement becomes redundant, so we can remove this statement right? Done that if statement and return this as well, and simply return this. This will get squares. Oh, we're missing one bracket here. Okay, now that's done. Okay. Now let's move on to the main program and see the test codes. Simply copy this test codes and paste it here. So as we can see here, this is the number of squares, 16, 38 and 78. So first of all, we have Manhattan with area of 16 and Atlanta with an area of 38. So Manhattan is obviously smaller, so this returns false, whereas Bangor has an area of 78 and Atlanta has an area of 38. So this is larger than this, so this returns true. So our output should be false and a true statement. So let's run this program and see what we get as output. And as we can see, false and true are our outputs. So we have successfully completed the first part. Moving on to the second part, price difference. We need to create a method public int price difference that returns the price difference of the apartment object whose method was called and the apartment object received as the parameter. The price difference is the absolute value of the difference of the prices. Price can be calculated by multiplying the price per square by the number of squares. So we need to multiply squares and the price per squares to calculate the total price for an apartment. And by comparing those total prices of two apartments, we can calculate the price difference. But notice, we've been given the information that the price difference is the absolute value of the difference of the prices. So even if the value is negative, we need to print it out as positive, because as we can see here in Manhattan Studio apartment, the multiplication of 16 and 5500 is smaller than the value of 38 multiplied by 4200. So this gives us a negative value of 71,600. But we are to return the absolute value, so our output must be positive value. So let's hop and try the solution. In the apartment Java, so we are creating a method public return type of integer price difference, and we are passing object apartment compared, right? So if else this, so what we are trying to achieve here is that if our condition is okay, first of all let's define a variable. I think that will be more easier, right? So let's define a variable int price difference is equals to, what we have is this dot get squares multiplied by this dot get price per squares subtracted from compared dot get squares multiplied by compared dot get price per squares, right? So I've called the method if this value is greater than 0, price difference is greater than 0 or is equals to 0. Ooh, NetBeans is not responding. Let's wait a while. Okay, it's responding. It's greater than 0. We simply have to return price difference. Otherwise, we are to return negative of price difference. So let's hop into the program and copy out this code as well, and let's test it out. Let's run this code. Now moving on to the part 3, more expensive. Write a method public boolean more expensive than apartment compared text object as a parameter of a method that returns true if the apartment object whose method is called is more expensive than the apartment object being compared. So how does this work? Is Manhattan studio apartment more expensive than Atlanta? It's false, but Bangor 3-bedroom apartment is more expensive than Atlanta 2-bedroom apartment, right? So let's make this method public boolean more expensive than in our apartment.java. Public boolean more expensive than, and it takes our argument apartment compared object, right? Now return, what should it return? So let's I think it would be a better option for us to create a method that gives us the price of the apartment now, right? So let's try and do that. Okay, I think that would be more efficient. Public integer apartment price, right? And this let's return this dot get squares multiplied by this dot get price per squares. Let's simply call Atlanta 2-bedroom apartment. Let's out this thing. Atlanta 2-bedroom apartment dot apartment price, right? So let's try and run this program. This should give us a value of 38 multiplied by 4200, and that's 159,600. Okay, so we are getting the price right now. Price difference, so all we can do is if price difference is simply, now price difference becomes this dot apartment price, right, subtracted from the value of compared dot apartment price. And this is a method, so we are gonna add that and this, and let's run our main program again. To get that value, we 71,600 and 35,400, 71,600 and 35,000. Yeah, indeed we did get that value. Now more expand return if this dot apartment price is greater than sorry, I missed the bracket here. Let's add the bracket. Apartment then compared dot apartment price, right? And for the test code we have been provided this right here, right? So let's just add this here and let's run this code. Oh wait, oh sorry, I missed a bracket in here. Okay, so it should return false and true, right? False and true, and well, yeah, there you go. So we can pass this code into the server, and let's see what the server outputs us. And as you can see, all tests have passed on the server. So thank you for watching. If there are any questions related to this exercise, you can ask down in the comment section. I'll see you guys on the next solution.